News emerged on Monday that 11 horses, including long-time 1,000 Guineas favourite Certify, from the Newmarket stable of Godolphin trainer Mahmoud Al-Zarouni, tested positive for anabolic steroids after a dawn raid by the BHA and testing of 45 horses on the 9th of April. On Wednesday, Al-Zarouni admitted to doping a further 4 horses. This, as it stands, is a huge story. Zarouni has undertaken the single most significant breach of the sport's drug laws, which explicitly ban the use of steroids either in racing or training in Great Britain. The fact these horses are the property of Sheikh Mohammed, ruler of Dubai and the single most important figure in global racehorse ownership, renders this case sensational. That it is his own Godolphin operation and Dubai national Al-Zarouni at the heart of this only serves further to maximise humiliation, recrimination and anger. When Godolphin was founded by Sheikh Mohammed in 1993, it was conceived as an elite squad of all-stars, cherry-picked from other trainers, prepared in Dubai, shipped back to England, from where, under the Sheikh's watchful eye, they would conquer all parts of the globe. And they did. From Balanchine to Swain, from Lamtara through Daylami to the mighty Dubai Millennium, the defining image of global flat racing at the end of last century was Frankie Dettori, now ironically serving his own drug ban, winning a big race in the Royal Blue Silks before leaping into Sheikh Mohammed's open arms. But for all their subsequent success, the operation is no longer as tightly focused or indeed successful. Against this backdrop, Zarouni, a more gregarious and opinionated character than Godolphin counterpart Saeed bin Sarur, was handed the keys to a portion of the Godolphin kingdom in 2010, with some success, including last year's St Leger winner Enki. Last year, Zarouni was found to have administered the banned painkiller propoxyphene to 2 horses, including 1,000 Guineas fancy Lyric of Light. In an extraordinarily hastily expedited case heard yesterday at the BHA in High Holborn, Zarouni offered no defence other than his ignorance of the rules and had no legal representation. The British Horse Racing Authority imposed a worldwide ban of 8 years, and Godolphin sought to isolate the case, laying the responsibility squarely at Zarouni's feet. But, to put it mildly, the most senior players have taken their eye off the ball. This approach to medication is at best cavalier, at worst deeply calculating. The British racing public needs to know that they can trust its participants, and important ones at that, not to cheat, and that this extraordinarily high-profile case is not symptomatic of a much more widespread problem. Extraordinary scenes outside the British Horse Racing Authority yesterday in High Holborn, and unsurprisingly for a man whose career is now in tatters, Mahmoud Al-Zarouni was unwilling to speak as he went into his car to leave, and probably leave British racing forever. One man who did speak to me, however, was Godolphin's racing manager, Simon Crisford. Simon, Godolphin have been an extraordinary force in British racing for the best part of 2 decades. How on earth have we arrived at a situation where one of your private trainers has been disqualified for 8 years for using steroids?
It's a very sad day. It's terribly sad, and we've arrived at this situation because one of our trainers has been absolutely reckless in his actions, and he's tarnished the Godolphin brand so badly that it's going to take a long time to recover.
Who administered these steroids? When were they administered? And how many people within Godolphin knew that those illegal drugs were being given to the horses?
Well, Mahmoud ordered his vet's assistant to administer the stanozolol, and the nitratane was administered by 2 foremen under the instructions of Mahmoud. But these people would not have known what substance they were administering. So they are very much the victims of the circumstance, and you know, they were carrying out their orders from their trainer.
So you are satisfied that Mahmoud Al-Zarouni was the only person within the Godolphin operation who set out to achieve performance enhancement through nefarious means? He was the only person with full knowledge of what he was doing?
We are in the process of undertaking a complete internal inquiry, and obviously we're having an external inquiry from the BHA as well, and we're working alongside them. And we will not have any more horses racing from that stable until we're completely satisfied we got to the bottom of this, and that if there is anything else that we're not aware of at the present time, that we flush out any bit of corruption from the corps. It has to go. So we have to know the truth, and we will get to the bottom of it.
Has Mahmoud Al-Zarouni offered you anything in mitigation? Any defence at all?
His defence is what he's told us before, that he didn't realise that he was breaking the rules of racing, and it's absolutely amazing to think that he didn't know that anabolic steroids weren't allowed in England, but then on the other hand, he knew that the BHA were coming to do selective testing. He was aware they were coming. So why on earth would he administer 15 anabolic steroids in full knowledge that the BHA were coming to do selective testing? And we haven't had an answer to that question yet.
Do you feel that you failed in your duty of care to the Godolphin horses as racing manager?
No. And I think that we have to be very clear about this situation. A trainer is a licensed operator from the British Horse Racing Authority. It is his duty to take professional care of the horses in his stable. And he runs the day-to-day stable management and husbandry of those horses. My job is looking after the best interests of the owner. And I simply cannot be aware of every little, not little on this occasion, but every single bit of medication that every horse in Godolphin is getting from their trainers. Just the same as I wouldn't with Andre Fabre or with Kieran McLaughlin or with Jim Bolger for that matter. You know, Said bin Sarur and Mahmoud Al-Zaruni were supposed to be professional trainers. One of them clearly wasn't.
But you've hired this guy. To
Yes.
what extent does that give you a conscience?
Well, that is just deeply regrettable, and it shows a remarkable lack of judgment on my part to recommend Mahmoud Al-Zaruni to Sheikh Mohammed, which I did do.
Do you believe that this is in any way symptomatic of a wider malaise as regards drug use in horse racing, either in Britain or internationally?
No, I absolutely don't. I think this is an isolated case. I think that everybody knows what the rules are in England. You don't have to be a racehorse trainer to know that anabolic steroids are outlawed in this country. I don't think it's a systematic problem. It really isn't. I mean, there might be a few isolated cases. Ours, sadly, was a lot of horses at one go. And obviously we're working with the BHA to make damn sure there aren't any more. But, you know, I have no evidence to suggest there are. Mahmoud has told us there aren't, but we have to check.
A year ago, 2 horses who ran at Newmarket early in the season for Mahmoud's yard tested positive for painkillers that were banned.
Yes.
At that point, did you not feel we're in trouble here? This is a guy who is not fully cognizant of the medication regulations, and I need to brief him more thoroughly.
Well, at the time he was briefed, and we did talk to him, and we did say, look, Mahmoud, you simply have to keep your records maintained in a much more efficient manner, and you've got to manage your stable better. You've got to do it. And I had lengthy conversations with him about that. But I'm afraid he's betrayed the trust that we put in him, and he's let everybody down extremely badly, not only Godolphin, but of course the British public too.
Do you think you will have anything to do with Mahmoud Al-Zaruni again?
No.
In any capacity?
No.
Do you have any sympathy with him at all?
No.
How on earth is Godolphin going to recover from this?
It'll take a long time. I think that I think we will get there, but because obviously Sheikh Mohammed passionately loves horses and horse racing, and you know he's going to make sure that everything will be done to make sure that the stable is absolutely 100% clean before any horses get transferred to any other trainers.
Have you at any point considered your own position
No,
as racing manager?
No, absolutely not, because I've been told to clear the mess up, and that's what I'm going to do. And if, when the mess is cleared up, if Sheikh Mohammed is dissatisfied with anything that I've done, then he'll make that known pretty quickly. You don't have to worry about that.
News, I think, surprised some of us that, yesterday that Mahmoud Al-Zaruni is to appeal against the severity of his warning off for using anabolic steroids.
8-year ban for doping 15 horses. Here are the scenes at the end of his disciplinary hearing, hastily convened, dealt with in very quick summary fashion. We thought that was the end of Mahmoud Al-Zaruni. Not a bit of it. A Facebook post appeared last week suggesting that he might well appeal. He has appealed. He's engaged a high-profile barrister. And so, if nothing else, this offers the opportunity for us to learn more about this case. There are still plenty of questions that many people, including ourselves, would like to see answered. We don't know when this hearing is going to be, but when it does occur, it's going to be fascinating.